All right, let's have a little discussion about importing all of your customers and contacts versus just letting them create accounts on their own organically. So the first thing to talk about here is that a lot of people think that it has to be either or. Either you do it all or none. And that either you do a giant launch and you import everyone all at once, or you just quietly release your site and wait for people to show up. But the reality is that you have different types of customers, and you should probably split this up and do sort of a hybrid. For example, you have customers that would be good for beta. In other words, those first 10 or 15 customers to sort of work out the bugs and get some initial feedback. You have customers that you've worked with maybe once and you'll probably never work with them again. And maybe you don't want to bug them with an email or even create an account for them. And then you have everyone in the middle. So a few things to consider. Obviously, in the long term, people are going to create their own accounts from now on. But take into consideration that when you have 500 or 1,000 of your customers, pre-existing customers, going to your site to create their own account, they're not always going to use proper syntax. For example, you'll get a lot of all caps names, weird abbreviations, lowercase first names, etc. Whereas if you import, you have control of all of that. If your customers create their own accounts, then they get to choose their username and password. Whereas if you import, it's going to create a password for them that they're going to have to edit later. I think this small inconvenience is worth everything you gain on an import though. So the way that I would approach this is to gather all of your data into one spot, one Excel sheet. Take some time to clean up that data. Think about formatting, all caps, addresses, things like that. I would take the time to clean that up. Excel has some great tools that help you do this in mass very quickly. You and your people are going to be staring at this data for a very long time. And so it really is worth it to take a couple hours to clean this up. Once you get it all cleaned up, go through it and identify the different types of customers you have. Just go ahead and delete the ones that you don't even want to work with or don't even want to create an account for. Then identify the ones that you want to be your beta group. Then, either by copying and pasting or just saving different revisions, create a few imports. These files are what you'll use at different times as you progress to a full launch. So in summary, this isn't an either-or decision. Use timing and context to your advantage. Take a little extra time cleaning up your data, timed imports, ignore the bad apples, and like everything else in life, the most important thing is just to execute.